This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Yes, welcome to the Racing Action Today. We're here today with vintage racer and classic car restorer, owner of the Paddock Classic Cars, Michael Donnelly. And tell me, Michael, you've been doing this business there. You've been busy?
We are very, very busy. It's grown exponentially in the last 5 years.
Now, do you handle all types of restorations, like street cars and race cars, or
We do. We like to say that our primary offering is toward pre-1980 European sports cars, but we also will do exotic cars and any other car for an existing client.
Yes.
We've done muscle cars, but we focus on the European sports cars.
You like European sports cars. Yeah. Now tell me, that red little race car you own, the number 46 there, yes. You really restored that car, right?
Well, I did. I restored it myself about 20 years ago, and then actually it evolved into a race car. I kept modifying it, and then finally decided, well, I may as well just race it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did all the work on that car.
So now, when somebody wants to restore a car, how'd you start? Before I go too far here, how did you start restoring cars? I mean, this is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. It's not. And we kind of went big with this business. I was actually in corporate America for 30-something years, and then
really?
Yeah, I retired, and actually, it's always been a passion of mine. My father restored a couple of cars when I was a kid, and I spent a lot of time with him in the garage doing that. Yeah. And so when I had the opportunity, I decided that, I was going to do that in my retirement.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed with that. Wow. I mean, you need to have good people to do this.
I've got the best team there is, and I'm lucky to have them, because you're right. Without the right team, it's not going to work.
Oh no, that it's not an easy thing to do, and it's very time consuming and meticulous. I mean, when you restore a car, the owner of that car, when he wants to see that thing mint to mint. There's no such thing as, we didn't do this right, or we didn't do that. I mean, they want it right down to the right bolt in there, right?
That's correct, and we will not compromise on quality. That's one of our core foundations, is quality always comes first.
So how does this work? Tell me. Somebody will they'll call you up and say, I'm interested to restore a car. So do you have to inspect the car fully first, or how does this work?
Yeah, I mean, we actually will ask, depending where the car is, we'll ask the person to send photographs, right, pictures through email or whatever, and then we get an idea what kind of car it is, what kind of condition it's in, things like that. And if it's nearby, we'll go look at it. Some people will just say, I want you to do the car, and they ship it to us. We've done cars from all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah, but we start with kind of an overall assessment, and then we try and align the project with the customer's goals, right? So you don't want to exceed what they're looking for, and then just overcharge them.
Now, when it comes to restoring cars, do you handle the whole thing, money, like the motor and everything, or is that a special thing?
Nope, we handle all the engine builds. The only thing we'll do is send out certain parts for machining, because we don't have the machine shop necessary to do some of that work.
Okay.
We do light machining. The engine builds are primarily done by Roger Barr. And
you're kidding me.
No.
Oh, my dear.
Yeah, and I do the Alfa Romeo twin cam builds.
I had no idea that Roger Barr worked for you, number one. Number two, I had no idea that he was an engine guy to literally rebuild motors.
Oh yeah, he's done quite a few for us already.
My dear. The man got to be like a wealth of knowledge, right?
He is. We did a 280 SL Mercedes, and he knew that engine inside and out before it even came out of the car.
You're kidding me. Wow. I am so impressed with that.
Yeah.
So they send you pictures, or you inspect the car, or whatever. Now, is there a going kind of a rate per hour? How do you come up with the figure?
We have an hourly rate. Sometimes we adjust that depending on how challenging the work is, or how what resources we're going to put on the project. We do give estimates, and I think that's kind of unusual for a restoration shop. I've talked to quite a few people.
Yeah, usually they do it by, they start working on it by the hour. This is going to be.
That's right. So we're a little unusual in that respect. We do estimates and we try and stick to them. If it looks like we're going to exceed it, we communicate with the customer.
And I think that's the best way to do it between me and you.
Yeah.
Let the guy know ahead of time, or woman, or whoever,
Yeah.
it's going to be this kind of money,
The only unknown up front is really the metal work. You have to strip the car to know what that is. And we always tell our clients, once we strip the car, we will provide you with a metalwork estimate also. But at that point, you're kind of committed.
You're committed, yeah. Now, how long have you been restoring these cars?
Well, I started the business in 2018.
And so far, what car has been restored the most? That you see mostly?
For us, we're doing a lot of Alfa Romeos.
Okay, so you have a name in the business of being a specialist in that category.
Yeah, and we did a couple of really special Alfa Romeos. We did two Alfa Romeo GTVs with, there's a company in the UK called Alfaholics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they create these performance parts for these cars, and they provided us with the parts. We put Alfa Romeo twin spark engines in these cars, close ratio gearboxes. I ported the heads, bigger valves, high lift cams. Long stroke crankshaft.
Do you dyno?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. So
in-house?
No, we do not have a dyno. Yeah. These cars though brings the Alfa Romeo GTV basically from 125 horsepower up to 220 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so for a very light car, 2,000-pound car, it's quite a difference.
Mike, I'm not going to kid you. That model, that GTB there, that is one of my favorite cars since I was a kid.
I love those cars, yeah.
And I don't know why I never ended up with one, to be honest with you. And I have to tell you, too, I want to thank you for helping out a friend of mine that had a little issue with his car. That's kind of a rare car. I had never seen one.
It's a very rare car in the United States because they were not imported. So there's only a handful that I know of in the United States. So we're trying to fix it for him.
Now that's one of them spark motors too, isn't it?
It is a twin spark, 2-liter engine. Yeah, a little more modern than what we're used to, but it's an interesting car, and unfortunately had a little problem with it, but we'll make it right.
Yeah, he had issues. And I heard the car run, and I kind of had an idea of what was the matter.
Yeah.
But I said, why don't you take it to Michael over there and see what he says? Because I know that you were the guy when it came to Alphas.
Yeah, we get a lot of Alphas through the shop. Yeah. That's the first 916 we've had, though.
I'm telling you, I never saw one. The car intrigued me. It really did. I'm not even sure. I might end up buying this car.
Let us fix it first.
Okay. But they are really nice cars.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's a convertible.
Convertible, front-wheel drive too, right?
Right. And they actually raced those quite a bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they came with a number of different engines. They put the V6s in it, a turbocharged.
I heard good things about. They had a V6 that they say is very sought after, right?
The V6 Busa engine, yes. That's a really, really nice engine.
Everyone I have talked to, when I was telling them I was looking at one of these cars, does it have that motor? I said, I don't think so. It's only a 4-cylinder. You know, he said, oh, no, don't, that's not the motor. You know.
Yeah, and, I suggested that maybe we do that conversion on this car, but then you're talking about, changing...
Big money?
Yeah, the electronics and the fuel injection and the ignition system.
Well, I think it'll be a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get it squared away.
Sure.
You know. It is. I'm telling you, I'm not going to rule myself out because to me it was very unique. I never saw one, And I have to ask you a question. Do you know this guy Santo down in
I do. I've raced against Santo in many events.
I have talked to him at Lime Rock. Yes. Now, does he do mechanical work?
Yeah. He's
the big time mechanical work.
Yeah, he's a very good mechanic. He knows engines really well, and he's got a very loyal following down there. And what I like about Santos is he will he'll take his Lancia and he'll drive it to Lime Rock from his shop, race it, and then drive home.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that is different. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah, I've interviewed him on occasion. I know he had a coupe like you, and. We got to know him but I also found out that he's got some very, very rare cars.
He does.
Race cars, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And now he's currently I believe he's the caretaker for a car called PBX, which was...
That's correct.
Yeah.
I heard that name before, yeah.
And he's taking care of that. He actually did a lot of work on it and presented it at Lime Rock this year and won an award.
Yeah.
So he's done very well with that.
I'm sick when I think that I hadn't missed the event this year because I was looking so forward to seeing that car. And, of course, I was sick. I had COVID, and that was it, First time in over 20-something years I missed Lime Rock. But you know what? We'll be back.
Good.
And now these Alphas... Do you find that people seek you out?
They do. We have a lot of club events at the shop. We have Ferrari club events, Alpha club events, and so we've kind of gotten the word out that we specialize in those cars, and so and plus I think social media, people see a lot of Alphas in our posts, right? So who are you going to trust? Somebody that's new to Alphas or somebody that knows them and has a lot of parts in stock for them?
Well, it's good to have that experience,
But we do a lot of other cars too.
Oh, I've seen your work. Let me tell you, I've seen your work. You do good. Yeah. And now you're in New Britain.
Yes.
I forgot the street. I don't even know what street that is.
Columbus Boulevard.
Columbus Boulevard. And now you just do regular mechanical work there too, or no? Like someone says, hey, I got something wrong with my motor or my transmission.
So service type work.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. We have, currently we have 13 people, and we have a complete body shop. We have metal fabricators, a father-son team, and the father has his own shop in Stratford called the Panel Shop.
Yeah,
Mark
I've heard
Barton.
of that. Yeah.
Super talented.
Yeah,
He's Rolls-Royce and Aston Martin trained.
Wow.
And, so he his son worked for him for 12 years down in Stratford. Then his son came to work for us.
Wow.
And Mark, the father, decided that he would set up shop with us. And
English wheel, that kind of stuff.
He continues to mentor.
Let's tell the people, what is an English wheel?
English wheel, yeah. The English wheel is a the British like to call it a wheeling machine.
Oh, wow.
But essentially, it's used to shape form sheets of aluminum or steel, and it takes a real skill to be able to do it.
I can't believe they got this thing going back and forth, and it's really something to watch.
And you can overwork the metal.
Oh, I bet.
And then it becomes too thin, and you got to start over. So it's a real skill. It's a real talent.
Let me ask you a question. Like Morgan, they made cars for years. I think they still do, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Do they still make bodies, their own bodies?
By hand.
By hand.
Yeah.
Oh, my dear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe they're using a BMW power plant now.
I don't know. I kind of lost touch with them.
Yeah, but they are still hand built.
Still hand built? Mm-hmm. I always like those little Lotus Super 7s.
Yeah, those are fun.
Another one, right?
Yeah, very fast. It's a go-kart.
It's a go-kart, yeah. Just hold on. And tight, hold that tight.
Yeah.
And so your next, now when you do this restoring, do you find you get many race cars or no?
No, a couple of race cars. More road-going track day cars, right? So people want performance modifications made to their track or their road-going car.
A road-going car.
Yeah. For example, we're working on a pretty big project right now. It's a Ferrari 348 that we wedged a Ferrari F430 Challenge motor into.
Oh, gee, wow.
It's a much bigger motor. We had to remove the fuel tank from behind the passenger compartment and put a fuel cell in the front in order to actually fit the motor.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to increase the car's horsepower by from the original by over 200.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be quite a fun car, and it's intended to be a street legal track day car.
Track day. Oh, my God. Well, that's become a big deal now.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. In when I was at Lime Rock, these kids, this grid life event, and I asked them, I said, how do you become one of these? How do you drive one of these cars? Do you need qualifications? Or it's, you need to do 3 high-performance
Driver
events,
education.
And then you're all set. And I said, well, my wife, I'm worried about, don't worry, she'll be fine,
Yeah, that's if you can go incident-free and they feel like you're safe, then they can license you.
Yeah, and the track days, you could tell, it's getting more and more popular.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the people they buy performance cars, but they like to go on a round racetrack with them.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that too, especially these new Corvettes, they got my attention. I'll be honest with you. I love how they look.
Yeah.
The only problem, Michael, I could get in them. I don't think I can get out of them.
Yeah, we had one in the shop for a while. It's an impressive car. I love the interior. It's really nice.
Yeah, for years and years they wouldn't go to that mid-engine car, and when you think about it now, they're competing against these big dollar cars. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they cost now, the Corvettes, but they're a deal compared to buying a new Ferrari or something, right?
That's right. The mid-engine cars are a lot more expensive than the Corvette. Yeah. The Corvette did a display last year at Lime Rock, as you probably know.
Oh, my dear. Yeah. That event, Michael, we covered that event. The cars that were there were just so special. These concept cars, that way back in time. Zorro, what do you call that? Zorro Duntoff there.
Yeah.
He was the father of that car.
Yeah.
That's what I like to say.
That's right. Yeah. He did, and he actually manufactured cylinder heads also. You know, the interesting thing is, did you notice at Lime Rock with that Corvette display how many mid-engine prototypes there were?
There were, yeah, there were.
It took them a while to figure it out, though.
It took them a while. Oh yeah, yeah. We had such a good time at that event. No matter where I went, I was just mystified. You know, they had this cutaway Z06 up on the main drag there. You know, but
We were right next to that. We had a little display there.
yeah, that was wow. But them cars, those you know, the old ones.
Yeah.
The very first Z06, and I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And they're sought after today. Any vintage Corvette that raced, they're very sought after. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think they handled the work. They were that good, but
Pretty good on the straight.
on the straight they went. Yeah, they went good on the straight. Just like the days of course, the old Mustang GT 350s. You know? I mean, I'll tell you, Wayne Carini's got one of those cars that I would just love to have. A GT 350, original one. Oh, my dear.
What color?
White with blue.
Yep.
You know?
Beautiful.
I'll tell you you want to hear a funny story? When I was a kid, and it became time, I got my license, I wanted a new Mustang. So, of course, I'm, investigating, and I come to realize that Tasca Ford in Providence, Rhode Island, sold Shelby Mustangs. And I said, wow, that looks like a nice car, So I dragged my father to Tasca Ford in Rhode Island. He said, why are we here? Why are we coming here? I said, listen, this car is not available everywhere. They're a special run. He said, you can't be happy with a regular car? You got, I said, no, come on, we'll go. Okay. Now we get there, the salesman, I knew I was in trouble right away. He says, oh, come on, I'll take this for a ride. I said, uh-oh. We get in the car, the salesman scares the shit out of everybody, right? My father turns around, he was in the front seat. He turns around, looks at me, says, you will never, ever buy this car.
That's good.
And sure enough, I bought a regular Mustang, a 65 Fastback. I'll never forget that. And they were not cheap too back then. They were like $4,100 back then. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Have you ever restored one of them?
No, but I'm in the process of doing a 1974 Pantera GTS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is
nice
351
cars.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's a nice engine.
Yeah. You don't see them often.
No, you do not.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite cars.
Yeah, this was one of the last ones made. It was actually built in 75.
Another car that I always loved, Michael, is that Ferrari Daytona. Oh boy. That car had something in my heart.
Can't beat a front engine V12 Ferrari.
Oh boy, that car.
Yeah.
Miami Vice, right?
Yeah.
Oh my dear.
Yeah, those are great cars.
Yeah. I mean, and they're so hard to come by. Jeez.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of Ferrari 330s right now. They seem to be up and coming in the Ferrari collector world.
They so in value, and then they start kicking up.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, they make some nice cars. I mean, I never really worked on one, but they tell me they're not fun to work on. They said everything's a little bit, right? You're turning a wrench a little at a time, and no room.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, we work closely with Tommy Young, who's an expert in these cars, and he does a lot of the work. We do the body work and paint, the metal work, that kind of thing. And Tommy posted a thing just yesterday. He said, how do you remove the air filter from a Ferrari 330 GT? And he said you don't. Because it's really stuck in there. It's really hard to get it out of there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get his point. I'm sure there must be some way to do it, but it's not easy.
Yeah, I heard that you know, they're not easy cars to work on, really. You know, very meticulous and
they're very closely judged, right? So everything has to be absolutely perfect if you're going to show the car. Yeah.
You know, I mean, this day and age, there's some beautiful cars available. Oh boy. You know, we used to go to now and then. Ferrari, there was a club that Lombardi belonged to. I forget what they called it. They called it something. The Ferrari club.
Team Pelota.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So we go up to Lime Rock and film a show with, I forgot his name, young kid, nice looking kid he was. And he was driving a Ferrari. Anyway, he says, Larry, I want to take you out on the track.
Oh, good.
I said, no, I can't do this. But I said, I tell you what, my cameraman has never been in a Ferrari, let alone a racetrack. Take him. You know, I know he'll like it. So, sure. Next thing I know, he takes him out on the racetrack. And they're out there for a while, you know. All of a sudden they come in, you know, they were done, and he gets out of the car. Mike, he was white as a ghost. I mean, he says to me, where's the closest tree?
Yeah.
He was white as a ghost, you know. Well, you got an interesting company, Mike. Paddock.
The Paddock
Classic
Car Restoration.
Yeah. I hope everybody remembers that name, and just tell them Larry sent you, right?
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, and Mike, really has been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
I think we could talk all night about these cars. But, you know, as usual, time is flying by, and we got to run. I want to thank you for watching tonight, and please tune in again next week to Racing Action Today. Thank you. This program is brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center in Berlin, Connecticut.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!